We here. We got RKTRealestate.com in the building. Rashidi said Killing's on his way. And so today's topic is inflation, the economy killer. So how is inflation killing the economy? Tell us the bad news.
Inflation, the other white meat.
Exactly.
I mean, just like I said, inflation is killing the economy, man. Like everything costs too damn much. That's what it is, man. I mean, it's one of those things where, as we know, for the past few years, inflation has been at an all-time high. Since pandemic, pretty much, it's just been going up and up and up, and it's just getting worse and worse. Everything from the basics, from gas to groceries. Now down to even touching on the grocery scenario where you're getting less portions of everything when you're buying products, from groceries to regular stuff. It's just less portion. The back in the day, you get a 25 cents bag of chips. That 25 cents bag of chips these days is 75 cents. You know what I mean? Simple as that. That's triple markup. You know what I mean? So not only are you paying more, but you're actually getting less product. With these jobs, McDonald's a couple years ago raised the minimum wage of $15. But let's be honest, it's hard to survive on $15 the way inflation is. You got to make at least $20 an hour, and that's if your rent's like $800 a month.
Right.
If your rent's more than that, you behind the 8 ball. I mean, let's look at rent. Let's look going on in the economy. I mean, you look at the situation with the houses where everybody's renting now, so the rent prices have been going up crazy the past few years. I just got done showing an apartment in Brooklyn for a 2-bedroom for $2,900 a month. You know what I mean? And the kicker is what's going on in the world where they're turning 1-bedroom apartments into 2-bedroom apartments. So they're knocking out the living room, making it into a 2-bedroom, and then you got a mini kitchen. And no living room, the portions getting smaller in real estate, and that's what's happening. So the point is,
for real? Is like a kitchen, bathroom, and just bedrooms, and that's it,
bro. I'm not lying. This is in every borough. This is going on. I've been showing apartments lately a lot, and this is literally what 70% of landlords are doing. They're fully renovating the place, and then knocking out the living room, turn that into a room, because legally you have to put a bedroom in there. Put a bedroom in there legally. I mean, a closet. I mean, in the second room legally, and there's no living room. It hit me maybe about 3 months ago, and it was so smooth. I was thrown off as a realtor. I ain't gonna lie to you. I went in an apartment. I was showing a client, and she was like, "Yo," I was like, "Yo, this is nice. It's a brownstone. It's in Brooklyn. They had like a little baby backyard set up, like with the fake grass out there. Like, yo, this is nice. You like it?" She was like, "Yo, there's no living room." And I looked around and I was like, "Oh shit, there's no living room." Like,
that's wild.
You don't even notice because it's all redone. So, but that's a real thing. It's getting bad out here, man. So that's why at the end of the day with this topic, man, it's like you gotta try to stay. You can't even stay ahead of inflation unless unless you're doing extremely well. But you gotta try to at least stay on pace, man, because a lot of people getting stuck in these jobs where you're getting paid next to nothing, and then the next thing you're trying to do everything by yourself, and you just falling further and further behind, man. Like, the point of this thing is that you got to start doing stuff together. If you're living in these cities, you can't be living by yourself. Can you really afford it? You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can't afford that area. You got to move somewhere else. Because you got people out here, like I said, that same example, $2,900. And if you're living by yourself, you're bugging. Because if you're only making $4,000 a month after taxes, and you got a $2,900 bill, and you buy your Metro card in the city and buy some food, you're done. Like, let alone if you got any kids or anything else, you know what I mean? And you living by yourself, can't be done. You got to be living with somebody. You got to be living with somebody else. If not, you should be moving somewhere else. So the point of this topic is you got to do things to try to combat inflation, man. I mean, everything is just going up. I mean, you go outside to buy food. The lowest meal on the McDonald's menu was $13. Let's be honest about everything here, man. Like, nothing you're doing out here is really gonna be cheap. You know what I mean? Everybody, time is money. Everything's itemized now. You know what I mean? You go to a restaurant these days though, like half the stuff is itemized. The prices is up in the restaurants.
Right.
You know what I mean? Things you used to be able to buy in a package deal is no longer a package deal. It's separate pieces. You buy in a toolbox, it don't got the hammers. Hammers sold separately. You know what I mean? Like, it's wild out here. So people got to start doing better and try to combat the inflation is the moral of the story.
So why? Okay, so why is there inflation in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it because there's more things like products and services happening, and more people need to get paid? Like, what's the point of the inflation? Or is there more money being printed? Like, what's like the reason behind it? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, all those reasons, man. You know, the economy is in crazy debt right now. America is in debt, literally. Like we're damn near bankrupt as a country. Like, that's the reality of the situation. The value of the dollar is not as strong as it used to be. Nowhere near the way it used to be. So that's why everything is happening like that. And of course, with AI taking over a lot of jobs, and also, you know, if you're trying to be from a technical standpoint, you know, between China and India taking over. You know what I mean? It's funny. I mean, not even to, you know, I'm old, but back my little youth, the little time I did go to college, I remember I took a class called The Globalization of India. You know what I mean? And that was like 12, 13 years ago. And look at this now. All the call centers are based out of India. When you call your cell phone carrier, it's in India.
Right.
In India. And Chinese, you know, not to be funny, they've been making all the products. What's made in America anymore? All the number one selling cars are all Toyota, Hyundai's, Kia, Japanese and Chinese places, all Asia. Like, you know what I mean? All we got is the F-150 and the Mustang. We being honest, like, you know what I mean? That's only American products. So everything is outsourced. So that really makes a major impact on top of the economy being in debt, and the dollar is not as high as it used to be, and we just don't have enough workers. That's the reality situation.
We don't have enough workers.
Well, it's not that we don't have, let me rephrase that. It's not that we don't have enough workers, but if you look across the board, you know what I mean? You got the American worker wants the top dollar, and rightfully so.
Right.
But let's be honest with you. A lot of companies are outsourcing it. So they got Johnson making $80,000 a year, but then they got 6 people in the Philippines making $25,000 doing the same job. You know what I mean? So that's the way the economy is going right now.
Listen, I want to ask you a question, man. And it kind of dawned on me because this question came up in my brain because I was watching that movie iRobot the other day. And so if you notice in iRobot, they're kind of like the robots in the movie were kind of doing a lot of things that people would usually do. Like, for example, remember Will Smith's character loved the sweet potato pie that his grandmother made? And then the grandmother exposed to him that it was the robot who made the sweet potato pie.
Right.
And Will Smith got mad. And then the robot was like chopping up shit in the kitchen and all this. And then there was another part where they showed you a robot delivering FedEx packages. And you know, of course, they're trying to go to driverless cars now, like self-driving cars. So my question is, because you got a company like Tesla, they're trying to make self-driving cars because they're trying to roll out this. There's rumors all over the industry where they said they're trying to roll out the next major Tesla car that they're trying to roll out is the Tesla like Cybercab. Right. So it's literally a car that drives itself. You already have self-driving car services in certain states. So if we got inflation, plus we got machines, technology, and robots doing our jobs. I mean, I went to the supermarket just today and I saw the fucking supermarket employees just standing around while everybody self-checked their groceries out of the store. You get what I'm saying? So in your opinion, as like a guy in finance and you fuck around in real estate and all that cool shit, what do you really think between inflation and technology taking over jobs? What are humans really left to do?
That's exactly it. It's nothing. I'm being very honest with you. In about 20, 30 years, it's going to be the haves and have-nots. That like it's going to be fading out. It's not even going to be they're barely a middle class right now. It's going to be people that got it and the people that don't got it. It's just that simple because of your point. It's so much technology going on that it's replacing all the jobs. Think about it. Like, you always see all those futuristic movies like iRobot It was the joint Wesley Snipes. You know what I mean? All the movies where
Demolition Man.
Yeah, all flying cars and all that. Like that.
Right.
If you think about it, what are the people going to be doing? It's going to be a super controlled society of
Yeah.
certain classes. We
Okay.
already have classes, but it's going to be super classes, like where it's like mad detail. Like, listen, you in this extreme low class or you in this extreme high class, and you just follow instructions because you're on a set income and you really can't do anything you want to do. Right now, we live in a time where, you know what I mean, even though people broke, sometimes you manage to do other fun things and go in debt, or you know, you're able to take out a credit card and max it out and do stuff like that, and you know, maybe buy a car you can't afford. Pretty soon, 20, 30 years, you won't be able to do none of that type of stuff. You won't even be able to put yourself in debt. Like, you know what I mean? The government gonna have so much control. You can't get a credit card. You can't buy that car you want. You're only allowed to buy what you afford. And you know what I mean? And the control is going to be gone. And like I said, it's going to be the haves and have-nots. So, you know, the new generation, I feel bad for him. You know what I mean? My son and all that, and his kids, it's going to be crazy. That's why you got to grab up what you grab up right now, make the money you make right now, so you can be a part of the haves instead of the have-nots. And people think it's a game. It's happening right before our eyes.
And real quick, Dylan the Islander, no.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Like, how many?
This is called the Money Game Show. This is what business, that type of shit. So call in with those questions.
And then it be the same niggas that come through. Miles and Lucario, all y'all talk about is girls, bro. Like, we're literally trying to talk about something else. Literally.
Right. So Kelly, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
That's the reason why I don't have kids. I swear to God, I would punch if I had a son, I will punch that nigga in the chest daily. Sometimes he wouldn't even have to do nothing. I'd just be like, yo, come here.
Right.
What was that for? Whatever you was about to do or say, nigga, like, what the fuck? Kayleen, what's going on, man? Shout out to
Kayleen. Peace, what's going on, y'all?
God.
Yeah, so what's your thoughts on this topic?
Well, listen, man, the consumers, man, we losing all the purchasing power, man. You know, things continuously going up, right? We're not, the average American is not is making $50,000 or less. So if the cost of living keeps going up and we're either continuously making the same amount or less, then it's only a matter of time, like Rashidi was saying, you know, before we separate ourselves, and it's going to be just the haves and the have-nots. So, you know, and just thinking about saving is cool. Yeah, you can save, but even if you save and the value of the dollar continues to go up. So let's just say, for example, you save $100 a month, right? Just for easy numbers, you save $100 a month. That's $1,200 for the year, right? Let's say if inflation, quote unquote, went up 50%. So instead of you saving that 100, it's really saving only $50 a month. Right? You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes to inflation, we got to think about, okay, what are the solutions? What things can we put in place to act as a hedge against the inflation?
Right.
So there's certain like avenues, certain assets that you can invest in, and even if no matter how bad the inflation is, these products will still give you that rate of return that you're looking for based off of the interest, right? So we got to keep that in mind, and you know, think of different income producing activities, and that's another thing too. People got to constantly find ways to increase their income, and you know, partner with like-minded individuals who are willing to also invest into certain businesses and stocks and bonds and whatever that product is that you're gonna see some type of return on, because the like I said, and that's just keeping up. That's not even really doing anything major. That's just you keeping up.
Yeah, staying with the rate of inflation. Yeah,
correct.
So,
exactly.
Because I know you guys do. IULs and other life insurance type policies. Do those things keep up with inflation?
100%. So how it works is that the companies already calculate and factor in for inflation.
Okay.
So that's why the rate of return that you're getting, anywhere from 8 to 12%, is the amount that you're going to get.
Right.
Technically, the rate of return is actually 15% plus. But what happens is the insurance companies, they're going to take their percentage because they're taking all the risk. So then, for example, let's say if the stocks went up about, like I said, just for easy numbers, let's say if the stocks went up 15%. You, as the insurance client, you made 12% on your money, but that extra 3%, the company is taking that because if the market tanks, your money's getting locked into place and the insurance company has to take that loss.
Okay.
You know, so your money's always safe. That's the beauty about, you know, these insurance products that we offer is that they, you know, they act as the hedge against inflation and they're secure. And anytime the market goes up, you get the capital gains with the market as well. You know, so that's a prime example of one of the areas where, or one place, or one product many products, but one place you should put your money is life insurance.
Right.
You know, that's what, and because it's tax free too. Right. So, and even in a variable market, even in certain stocks and bonds, and I always advise, especially if you're young, do your research on which companies is worth investing in. You know, because and because that's the name of the game. If you're just literally sitting on money, I think who said this? Robert Kiyosaki. He was, and when he said it, it didn't click for me until he really said. I had to hear it a few times until it clicked for me. He said, "People are saving money when they're continuously printing money."
And he was like, I heard him say that the other day. He said he's in like $2 billion in debt or some shit right now, and he's happy about that or some shit. Yeah, some shit like that. I heard the other day. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
So just that thought process when he said that, I'm like, wow, you know, and it's hard to fathom that when a lot of people only have but so much and they have to make it stretch.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes in, where people have to do more collaborations. Yeah. I think this individualism thing, I think it's false. It's not a real thing.
Right.
You know?
I asked my question earlier about the robots, right? Because I think inflation is not just like the value of a dollar. I think inflation is the value of the unit. Of the value of units. So, and when I say unit, what I mean is like, let's just say a unit is an hour of work or man hour, like a man hour. I think the value of a man hour goes down. Like, of course, the value of a man hour is measured by money as well. But I think coupled with technology, I think the value of a man hour changes when these computers and these robots start doing what humans could be doing, because I don't see. All right. So right now, like, for example, I live in an apartment building, right? And you see the Amazon truck pull up to the side of the building. And then somebody, of course, they get out and they have those big like laundry thing on wheels. And they roll that thing into the building and they go in. There's this locker where you're supposed to pick up your deliveries, right? But check this out. There are conveyor belt systems where if the truck could be self-driving, it could pull up alongside the building, an arm with a fucking conveyor belt could extend out into the building from the truck. The packages go directly into the room. They go to their designated lockers, depending on whatever, right? And then I could just go down and pick up my package, and the package will be placed in the designated area, all by machinery. So all of the money that niggas is making now working for Amazon, at some point you're not going to be necessary. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the whole thing and I'm like, really? Like, what's really about to happen, bro? Like, is it really just going to be is everybody just going to be a social media influencer?
Right.
And even with that, they're using AI for that. Right. Look, I'm not particularly proud of this, but I follow a couple AI bitches on Instagram because they better than real bitches. Like, they make these bitches perfect, the perfect hips, the perfect tits, the perfect everything. And the bitch look like any one of these BBL hoes, but she just look more perfect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even know that was a thing. I probably been being fooled and didn't even know that.
I think it's a real woman.
And it's not just photos. Some of them is video, but the background is blurred out. So it looks like a street in Paris or somewhere, or Dubai somewhere, but the background is blurred out though.
Right.
So you can't tell where the bitch is actually at, and she's walking down the street, titties moving in real time, and all that shit. So what I'm saying is, what's really gonna happen to real people?
Oh, it's a wrap. It's over.
we gonna be home just like them IT movies. Everybody gonna be sitting home.
It's gonna be
that's it.
It's gonna be like this.
Virtual world.
Sipping nutrients through a straw and just fucking watching monitors and shit.
Yeah, that's basically. What's that? WALL-E. The WALL-E.
They're trying to implement like to where man and machinery become one.
Right.
You know, and that's in we're like in those beginning stages. You know. I think another thing that people don't realize is that agriculture, right? Growing your own food, and I because we spend so much food in this country, so much money on food, right? I think that in the future, that's something. Speaking about inflation, that's something that, especially if you're a homeowner, if you have any type of garden, or even if you don't, like if you have areas where you can plant something and it grows, do that or get used to that, because at least when it comes to buying food, at least that will be one expense that's lower. It may take a little time. It may take some time out your day to actually water your plants and, you know, do these things. But that's something that in the future, you're going to thank yourself later. Why? Because if you're spending about $500-600, I'm lying, $1,000 a month on groceries, right? And that's low. Some people spend more than that. They got big families. Right?
Yeah.
Let's just say they spend $1,000 a month on groceries. If a lot of your food is homegrown, that cuts it at least, even if it's not half, at least by a third. So instead of spending $1,000, you might spend about $650-700 on groceries.
Right.
Because you can go right in your backyard and you can have food that you can eat.
Yo.
Versus spend. So it's so many different things that in the future people are going to have to do. I would start getting used to these habits now. Even purchasing a home, right? People got to collaborate on that too. Instead of two people trying to just get a separate home each at the moment, collaborate, come together, and buy that home together.
That's wild.
Because these things are going to have to happen at some point.
Yo, you know it's just, oh man, it's crazy. Because I think of this shit and it's just like it's gonna be either you anybody ever seen that movie Elysium?
Elysium? Yeah. I haven't seen that.
Okay, well, in the movie Elysium, all of the rich people live in this like elevated city. Like it's a city that's on like a
in the sky somewhere.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw
it's
that.
It's like a anti-gravity aircraft carrier. So the city is extended above, like it's in the atmosphere. And then all the have-nots live on the ground. And you know, niggas be robbing niggas and shooting and killing and stealing and a whole bunch of shit. But when you go up to where the Elysium place is at, they have like everything is perfect. Like it's a utopia. And even if you get hurt or sick, they have machines that can like change your cellular composition to take disease out of your body, so you can be 100% healthy in like 2.5 seconds and shit. Like that's how the movie is. And I'm just looking at the world now, and I'm like, because if it keeps going like this, right? Because I saw some shit online the other day. They were talking about how the government keeps printing money, and that's a part of the reason why inflation is so high. And so even if they do pay the McDonald's nigga $20 an hour, like somebody said it in the chat, $20 an hour is the new $7.25. So you paying the dude at McDonald's $20 an hour, but that $20 is like you said, is worth $8 really. I'm like, if it keeps going like this, it's like it's gonna be a heavy separation between, I think somebody said it on the panel too, between the have and the have-nots. So how is that really gonna work out, bro?
Right.
How is that really gonna work out? Because let me tell you something. They have the technology to replace a lot of motherfuckers. let's be clear. Like Tesla just got rid of something like 50,000 workers the other day. Amazon factory, the Amazon factory, you got people like unfolding boxes and putting the tape on the boxes. There are machines that could do. Yo, Jeff Bezos is just looking out for niggas at this point, straight up and down.
Oh, you know what? I got it. It just occurred to me. Okay, it's all making sense now.
Okay,
So,
go ahead, please.
I don't even know if I should say this because it's all going to get shut down. We're going to have niggas knocking out our doors. Okay, basically this is how it's happening, right? So, luckily only 20 people was watching live, but you know, they're listening. So, you know how with the Illuminati they say they want to decrease the population?
Yeah, depopulation.
Right. Right. So what's the best way to decrease the population than to make sure a bunch of niggas ain't got no money and fighting each other and killing each other on their own? And then the people who's left, it's a decreased population. So they're slowly making the plan happen naturally.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to be like you said, all the jobs that those other people would do would go to the machines or the AI. Those people are going to be out of a job. They're going to be fighting amongst each other, and then they're going to just die out. So it's like, hey, we're gonna get rid of the problem. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it's going to work.
To piggyback what you're saying, Mr. Lucario, it is happening. On the same level, like you look at medical coverage. Medical coverage is so high that elderly people can't afford it. So if they can't afford their medication, what happens? They die a lot faster.
Right.
People our age, they're like, I'm still kind of young, so I could kind of not go to the doctor as often as I need to go to, and I could get the insurance coverage that's a $3,000 deductible. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to go to the doctor. I only get one primary check once a year. So on every level, you know what I mean? To your point, people are dying faster because of these things. Because if you can't even pay for medical coverage, you can't get checked out if something's wrong. All these virtual doctors, online clinics, all this type of stuff is literally happening before our eyes. And the key thing that we left out that we need to talk about is Black and brown people, man. Let's be honest here. With the Black and brown people, statistically, Black and brown people don't stick together. Statistically, we only stick together 43% of the time. So while other cultures stick together and work together to grow in this economy and save money together, our people don't. That's massive. If you think about that, that means our own families don't stick together. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Less than 50%. So that means, and you think about it, you look at other cultures, you look at the Hispanic cultures, they all live together and bundle up 10, 15 people in the house. Right. You look at the Asian culture, it's all family that works at their restaurants. Like, you know what I mean? But our culture, we do none of the above. So not only is this happening to the whole economy, imagine our people. It's set in stone that we're definitely going to be the highest population in the have-nots. The rate this is going, 90% of our people is going to be the have-nots in that category. You know what I mean? So that's something that we got to start doing. There are a lot of people out here living lives, and everybody's individualized, and everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and everybody wants to own a business, running a business by themselves. That don't make no sense. Companies have executive board. Companies have more than one people, but yet still we got 8 million entrepreneurs when it comes to the Black and brown world, which is good. We're trying to do things on our own, but it don't make sense because you can't do it by yourself. So really the key thing is like people got to start changing their mindset and working together as units to actually make strides though, because you living by yourself ain't working. That ain't it. You know what I mean? You starting a company by yourself and doing it by yourself, that ain't it. You falling behind yourself. How big can you grow? How much money could you actually make by yourself if you run the operation? If we're being honest, you're gonna cap out what, 80K at max, and that's okay money. And you're better than poverty, but you ain't going nowhere. And you have to kill yourself faster because now you're stressed out because you handle everything. You the admin person, person that deliveries,
right?
And you got a regular life at home, burning yourself out to death. Like it's real out here. So that's definitely one of those things people got to think about. Like you got to do stuff together, man. Stop doing stuff by yourself. Do stuff together.
Real talk. So any last things you want to say before we wrap this up? Any things that you need people to know?
Yes. This Saturday, guys, Tri-State area, New York, Jersey, Connecticut, come out to our Finance and Fun event. in Newington, Connecticut. That is from 4 to 7 p.m. If you are in the CT area, if you're in Jersey, if you're in New York, come out, have a good time. For, as usual, food, drinks, financial literacy that you're gonna get. So just make sure that you guys come out, have a good time, and some prize giveaway. So just make sure y'all come out, and have some fun.
All right.
That's what's up. All right, people. So we out of here. Make sure you guys go to rktrealestate.com and we will holler at y'all later. We out. Truth is inside. Peace.